Hey there, I'm Jeremy, and I'm your winner from Wanted Adventure Host. As you get to know me a little bit better, you're gonna see that I come from a long line of adventure seekers, and today, I'm reaching new heights. I am going to conquer the challenge that has been staring me in the face for a very long time. I can only hope that, Grandfather, you're listening right now, because I'm going to Smith Rock State Park, and I am going to reach the highest of heights. This is the wildlife.
The Wildlife is presented by Fred Meyer.
Just 160 miles from downtown Portland, Oregon, 9 miles northeast of Redmond, is a Central Oregon treasure, Smith Rock State Park. People come to Smith Rock from all over the world. Year-round, you can hike, bike, horseback ride, and rock climb in this beautiful park. It's the birthplace of American sport climbing, with spectacular views, 651 acres of high desert plateau, and some of the best rock climbing in the world. Today, I was fortunate to see a rope swing set up from the back of Monkey Head, as well as a slack line to the Monkey Mouth. Smith Rock State Park is more commonly inhabited by sport climbers. It's on everybody's top 5 list of rock climbing parks in the nation. One rock formation, in the shape of an ape, is the icon that brings us here. Once I get all this stuff loaded up in my pack, it's gonna weigh somewhere around 40 pounds, which is not that bad of a thing, but it's a lot to carry in. This park is amazing. It has everything. Look at all these trails running around here. But I want to go right there. Monkey Face, 400 feet high. That's my challenge for the day. I'm climbing with friend and local rock climbing guide Jim Ablau. To get to Monkey Face, you must do the strenuous hike up Misery Ridge. It feels longer than 3/4 of a mile. It's rock, steps, and gravel. With its constant incline and switchbacks, the name Misery says it all. Oh, man, it's nice to reach the top. The views from here are accessible to anyone that wants to take that hike up Misery Ridge. And from this point, you can see all the peaks of the Cascades. And if you look over here, you can see Mount Hood far to the north. This is the viewpoint to be. Look at this. This is why I came here. It's Monkey Face. It's like the creme de la creme of Oregon climbing. Surrounded by the Crooked River, the park was once a hub of volcanic activity. The rock composition is called tuff, which is compressed volcanic ash. You'll notice the rock has a wide array of color, from the bottom up to the top. This is due to the speed at which it cooled. With some of the toughest climbing routes in the world, this is a geologic wonderland for climbers and outdoor enthusiasts. This is it. This is the base of the climb. We're gonna set up our gear right here, get all our harnesses and everything, all the gear set out and checked out. Then we're gonna head right out around here, and it's nothing but the top from there. The equipment is expensive, but necessary. This set of gear alone cost $1,000, but with my life on the line, it's worth its weight in gold. It's as much a lifestyle as a sport. It's game time. Climbing! By the way, that orange rope's not pulling me up. It's there as a last resort. Coming up. It's a nice little chute here.
coming up. Some really good positive holds on this first one, if you see right here. It's a positive hold. It's like climbing a ladder with goofy angles.
With the sun now starting to heat up the rock face, I'm starting to get warm. Now nearing the top of the first pitch, I get my first clear view of the climb that lies ahead.
All right, I'm at the top of the first pitch right now. I'm about to climb up the second pitch. My buddy's at the top pulling up the rope. And the only thing holding me into this mountain is this anchor point and my belay. And he's not quite set up to belay yet, so this is what I got. This is a fun climb right here. This is where the route really gets fun because, I mean, it's just super hard and there's a lot of weird, tricky angles. You've really got to be paying attention to how the rocks are flowing up this thing because there'll be parts where you just get stuck and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then it's like, oh, I just got to turn around and face this way. So this is the skill part. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this anchor system out. He's on belay up at the top. And then I'm gonna climb up. All right, it's time for me to start the second ascent, the second pitch. And here I go. Climbing!
On the first pitch, there were big boulders and steps to navigate my way. With the second pitch, you're limited to cracks and the contour of the wall itself.
Clip it in, unclip it, get it out of the way. Still.
As I reach each anchor point, I'm removing the equipment from the rock and the rope and clipping it onto my shoulder sling. By the end of the route, it starts to add up. The higher I climb, the more weight I carry, and the more complicated the route becomes, at times looking unclimbable.
This is the crack where it splits apart. Whew.
This marks the place where I'm no longer climbing the mountain. Now I'm solely climbing the column leading up to Monkey Face. When I switch from the east to the west side, I get my first unobstructed view of the mountains.
Oh, look at that view. You just come through this little gap and it just opens up before you. You can see like all the Cascades over there.
With each step, it becomes more apparent both how high I am and how far I could fall. I'm almost to the halfway point. I've got to tell myself to focus on the job at hand and not think about the distance to the bottom. If I let my nerves get the best of me, I could lose my concentration, and that's when mistakes happen. The holds are getting smaller, and my hands are starting to feel the stress of the climb. I can see the end in a few feet, and I've got to make one final push to get there.
Oh my God. All right. Whew.
Two more hard climbs remain. I am looking directly up at a flat wall leading to the mouth of the Monkey. There are no holds in sight, the wind is picking up, and now I have to have complete faith that my equipment will hold me. It's both terrifying and exhilarating.
I'm at the top of the second pitch. This is Bond Street. This is where I transition from free climbing to aid climbing. So I'm no longer just using the rocks to climb, I'm actually using the anchor points themselves to get me up. For that, I'm going to use these things. This is called a rope ladder. And this is where it starts to get strenuous. For this little jaunt right here, I've got 2 separate ladders. One for each hand. And I'll clip, step, pull up, and I've got a little bitty hook here called a Fifi hook. I hook it into my point, clear the route, and keep going. This is the part that's gonna hurt a little bit. All right. Slab a little bit of chalk on my fingers. Try and find some courage. And go for it. All right, climbing.
I've been rock climbing for over 6 years. However, this is the first time I've ever been aid climbing. Immediately, I felt a difference in the way my body reacted to the climbing. It's like learning to drive an automatic and then switching to a stick shift. After doing it the same way for so long, I really struggled with the routine and the technique.
Sweet. Whew. Okay. God, my feet are killing me right now. Okay. Well, can I get a little slack? You got it.
Although I'm tied into a rope, it's only there to catch me if I fall.
This is a fun sport, but it really can tear you up. Right now, my feet are just stinging. All this freaking pressure on them. And I'm in overtime. I'm not done yet. This is Panic Point. This is the part where it's about 300 feet straight down. You always get really nervous coming out of this mouth. All right. There's only one way. Oh man, just the feeling of hanging off this rock face lets you know you're alive. Oh man. Oh, my Fifi hooked. And I'm at the top. This is Panic Point. This is the part where it's about 300 feet straight down. You always get really nervous coming out of this mouth. All right. There's only one way to the top. Climbing!
Panic Point is aptly named, as many experienced climbers have reached this point and turned back. My fingers are shaking and my tips are numb. I'm so nervous, my hands are starting to sweat, and a slippery hand means a slippery hold.
Oh my God, that is a long freaking way down. Oh my God. Woo!
Right now, I'm spent. The last pitch is as easy as the first, but I've used all my energy getting there.
Last pitch of the climb. Up and over the nose. Climbing!
Climb on!
Right now, I'm spent. The last pitch is as easy as the first, but I've used all my energy getting there.
The camp is across here.
And the anticipation of reaching the top is overwhelming. It's just a few steps away.
Oh, maybe not. A little slack. And this is the view from the top of Monkey Face. Man, it's good to be at the top. It's like you're fighting through that whole pitch. Once you make it to the top, it just makes it all worth it.
First, I had to refuel, and then there are a few moments where you get to just clear your head and enjoy your environment. Just sitting down and taking in the scenery, it was awe-inspiring. The gift of the climb is reflecting at the top. We've climbed 4 very difficult pitches to get to that peak moment. I didn't want to cheat the experience by cutting it short. Eventually, I have to get down, and rappelling is a treat.
Touchdown. Oh man. Yeah, that's what it looks like. To go from the bottom to the top, back to the bottom. Oh. My feet are killing me. I just climbed 400 feet in a couple hours, straight up, and then wrapped straight down. Some really tough climbing. 4 different pitches, blazing hot sun, burning hot rock. Feet are killing me, hands are killing me, bleeding, sweating. And I loved every second of it. Now starts the long hike out. That way.
After a long day of climbing, it's time to refuel with some local flavor.
Climbing is a hard sport, but it requires really work and persistence, and I think that those elements definitely carry on into what goes on in running a successful restaurant.
Digging in, committing to what you're gonna do, and just not giving up until you've succeeded in it.
Kristen and her husband Ian are co-owners of Terrebonne Depot. Located on the fringe of town just outside of Smith Rock, they have converted the historic train depot into a one-of-a-kind restaurant. A popular stop for rock climbers and adventurers alike, Terrebonne Depot captures the spirit of climbing, cuisine, and local culture.
I love the atmosphere. It's got, you know, some climbing photos, but it's also just got photos of like the area. It's not like, oh, this is just where all the climbers come. It has the ambiance and the setup for everyone.
The idea here is really to create a place that has great food and great service that supports all the great activities that go on here in Central Oregon.
With a menu full of Western favorites, I wanted to take Ian's word for it, but I figured I would let the food speak for itself. I can't wait to share my experience with one of my inspirations when it comes to adventure, my grandfather Don. Dear grandfather, today's journey was one for the record books. I climbed 400 feet of rock face in only a few hours. 4 pitches, 40 pounds of gear, and the best view of the Cascades that I have ever seen. We did it. Monkey face. Love, Jeremy. For dessert, I had to return to the sign you pass every time in and out of Smith Rock for a double scoop of huckleberry ice cream.
Thank you so much. I mean, come on. See you next time on The Wildlife.
The Wildlife has been presented by Fred Meyer.